Oh my God, y'all! I'm right here. I'm with Trent and Cody right now, and Trent just smoked a 4x4 on Camp Pendleton, y'all. He just smoked a 4x4 on Camp. Oh my! I think he broke the record. I think he broke the Camp Pendleton record. Oh my God! Oh my God! Okay. All right. You'll see it in a second. I don't want to show the deer until Trent says it's okay. I'm going to my car and I'm freaking out for him. I was in a pool with Jacob and Aria and Chloe, and I get a call and I'm freaking out. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We are here with Trenton Coble. He's the brand new record deer holder on Camp Pendleton, 166 pounds dressed. Trent, introduce yourself.
Hey guys, Trent Coble. I am from Dallas, Texas. I am new to this whole Western hunting idea. Never used my binoculars to look at anything, never used a spot and scope. It was always just going in a tree stand and that was it. So this was actually like a huge introductory, being able to meet Mike and Cody Holloway. These guys definitely brought me into the new realm of being able to spot everything and waiting to be able to judge it. Not only that, but playing the thermals right, playing the winds on however, like the moon phase, everything you can think of. These guys definitely played a different toll in my life, and it has obviously paid off. So,
all right, thank you for that. Great meeting you too. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna do a quick breakdown of what happened. I mean, sorry for the background noise. My neighbor's doing his floors, if you guys hear it. But so you broke the record, right?
Yeah.
Just give us the play-by-play. It was last Sunday. It's been a week now. Just how you spot and stalked. Don't say the area in case you're blowing out someone else's spot. No. So just give us the quick play-by-play in simplicity.
Okay, so this certain area I've actually been scouting. Well, haven't been scouting. It's definitely been a hard toll on me because we've only been able to hunt these areas just a couple of times. Hunted it once before, was able to get out, do a lot of scouting in certain areas of this one zone, and I saw a couple of monster bucks. That being said, I was finally able to get a spot into this zone. I went up a trail that I have previously seen them going up and down constantly. So I take this trail and I go and sit on it and whatnot. Had a couple of game cameras on there, so I checked the game cameras.
Like I said, neighbor's doing the floor. Being a great neighbor, he came and offered because I'm trying to get my floors done. So he would just want to offer to see if he wanted his guy to come look at my floors. Continuing.
Sweet.
No edits, no edits.
So I checked the game cameras, and there's actually quite a few nice bucks going through this area. They were definitely on a doe. It was hard to pattern them just because of the fact that they were on a hot doe. The doe didn't want to stay in the same area.
Yeah.
She kept hopping around, obviously because of these bucks. They're all chasing her, bumping her to a new spot.
So to interrupt, because a lot of people don't believe us, the does and bucks are in rut right now.
Absolutely.
And what's today? Beginning of October.
The 10th.
And they've been rutting
yep.
like a month. No one believes us, and this is perfect proof. You guys have seen the videos. They're in rut, y'all. Camp Pendleton bucks are in rut. How much longer? Who knows?
Absolutely.
But the opening weekend when we went out, we saw them in rut. So for all those people that aren't believing it, here's another proof. He saw it. I mean, are you gonna talk about what you saw happening?
All right, tell get to it. So I get over on this trail and I'm glassing. Don't see anything. It's about 1 o'clock or so. Don't see anything. So I decide, all right, well, I'm gonna take a nap. It's in the heat of the day. So I took a 15-minute nap, and then I would get up and glass for 15 minutes. I did this all the way up until right at 16:30, 16:45. When it started to cool down, I have actually a little thermometer that I keep in my backpack so I can check and see what the gauges are. And every time it starts to cool down, I know that these deer are about to start being active and move. That being said, I was looking at it and it started dropping. It dropped 4 degrees in 30 minutes. So whenever that happened, I said, all right, well, you know, maybe some of these deer are gonna be getting up and moving. Sure enough, I was just about to sit back down to take a drink of my water, and I start hearing these crashing sounds. I look out and I see this doe being chased by the buck. Well, she's going up and down the hill, going off to the right. She runs up and down the left side, and then she stops. Well, the buck actually tries to get on top of her a couple of times. He ended up doing it 3 times.
Hey, he's spreading those good genes.
Absolutely. I let him do it, a couple of times. He got on top 3 times, and we actually, I got to watch. wasn't trying to make anything of it.
So
but,
peeping Tom, huh?
Yeah, I was like, well, alrighty. We'll just let them do their thing, and then hopefully I can take him out after he did what he loves. So that's exactly what happened.
So when you're watching this, how far are you?
So I was actually getting into that. Okay. So they were 192 yards whenever I first saw them.
We saw Bumpin' Uglies.
Yeah.
192. Okay.
192. She ended up walking a little bit closer, and then she backtracked about 5 more yards, and then went up and started eating along the hill. She didn't go very far up, only maybe 5-10 yards up, and then the buck just stayed down on this little draw. As he did, I was like, all right, well, I'm definitely not going to be able to make a play on this buck if I sit here. Everything in front of me, they would be able to see me come down the hill, and everything in front of me is, it's brush all the way up to my chest, if not higher. Everything's dead, so you can't walk through there without making any noise.
Yeah, we know.
It is loud. And the entire time, I took my shoes off. Had my socks, had a double layer of socks on. I'm a huge fan of that, guys. Pro tip. Use your socks, you were 10 times quieter.
We like to call it an SOS situation, shoes off situation.
Shoes off situation. But so I turned around and I was like, all right, well, if I can do this. I was looking up on the hill on their left, my right, and it was real patchy, real dirt, like dirt spots everywhere, bunch of bushes in that one area, and I knew that if I could get up on top of this hill, I could align these bushes and stay behind them. I was checking the wind the entire time, and the wind was blowing up and over that hill. So I wasn't having to worry about my thermals getting blown down in there. I wasn't having to worry about being loud because there was the dirt patches everywhere and the bushes, so it was concealing me. All 3 of those things were a huge factor and was able to help myself stay hidden. So I turned around and backtracked the entire way. Ran down the back trail that I went up on, that I've been seeing them going up and down. Was definitely kind of iffy about it, just due to the fact that I was kind of light limited. I didn't know how much more time I was going to have, and if I was going to have enough time to actually make a stalk on them. But I said, you know what? I'm going to go all in on this.
So last time we did a time check, it was around, you said like 1 o'clock, right?
1 o'clock.
So what time are we looking at now?
This time it was right at, I'd say right at 17 to 17:20ish, right at that time.
Okay, so 5:20 for y'all non-military folk. So sunset is like 6:30 these days.
Yep.
So you're looking at hour
maybe.
Good hour.
Yep. So I was definitely thinking in the back of my head, if I don't push for this right now, there's no way I'm gonna get this done. Everybody, I like to play by the book, try and get it, within the regs. I don't want to shoot outside of that time zone, and just being, respectful to those laws that are set. The game board's put it there for a reason. And that not only that, even if you were to shoot, maybe there was somebody right behind them and you wouldn't have seen it because of a dark night.
Yep. So this is archery season only, just let me add.
Yeah.
So no one's out there wearing orange like my super vibrant Vortex ball cap right now. Straight camo gear, and we all know how well camo gear is built these days. You can blend in very easily. So with a good camo gear in low light, it's gonna be hard to see that person. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I swing around and run down to the road. I have my backpack on. My shoes are inside my backpack. I grab my bow, and my binoculars are up against my chest. I have them off to the side. You can actually see in the picture if you post them.
Okay. Yep.
So, what happened is I ran down towards the road, and jumped on the road and ran another maybe 300 yards or so, I would say.
Okay.
Would you agree? Back from where I parked all the way back towards where I went up the hill. That's about 300 yards.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And then I got on that hill and ran up it. Well, didn't necessarily run. I took my time going up.
So you went from your car, you ran back down the road and went up that hill where I saw you?
Had to drop the backpack off.
Oh man, I didn't know that.
20 pounds lighter, man. You gotta take the bag off, drop the weight. So
I didn't know that.
ran down there, dropped the bag off. All I have is my bow, my binoculars, and my rangefinder at this time. So
I need.
that's all I was going in. I said it's all or nothing. Get all the way down, run all the way up the hill, taking my time. And once I got about where I thought I was about, up to the top of the ridge, if not more, I started taking a step by step. You know, I would take a step every 15 seconds. That way that whenever I was going through there, I wasn't making a lot of noise. I was depending on the wind. Every time the wind would pick up, I would take 4 or 5 steps at a time because it was blowing that sound back down the hill the opposite way.
Yeah.
It was blowing my scent back and whatnot. So I was looking at all the landmarks. Whenever I was looking at the buck and the doe, I was picking landmarks out on this hill. That way, whenever I got up there, I could use them as reference whenever I was in a stalkable position.
Yeah.
Whenever I got up to the top, I thought I was in the correct area. I was looking at this bush, and as I started coming over, I realized there wasn't another bush below it. So I backtracked, and I swung back around another probably 15 yards off to my right. And as I did, I see a trail, and I'm like, oh, sweet. I can get on this trail and be super quiet. Nobody's gonna hear me. I mean, because it's so beat down where they're walking in and out of there as well. There's deer poop everywhere, and it smells like a bedding area.
Nice.
And I mean, because when the deer get in an area and they're safe and they know they will literally poop and pee 10 yards from where they are bedding.
Yep.
And it is so stout. Reference like a petting zoo. A petting zoo, how it has that just real musty poop pee smell. That's exactly what it smelled like. So I'm like, all right, well, they're definitely close. And what's going through my head is these deer, or the doe is comfortable in this area, and the buck is not going to leave her side. So as I get over to the spot to where they were, I did not see them. I looked to my left, I looked to my right, looked up the other hill, nowhere to be found. So I pull my phone out and I look over to the right, and that's where the bowl actually ended, and it started going back uphill.
Okay.
So I said, well, if they didn't go to the left, I can't hear them. I guarantee you they went back to the right where they were bedding, and they're gonna go up and start feeding in this area. So that's exactly what I did.
Time check.
So at that time it was, I'm looking at my watch like it was.
It's not right now. Time
so at this moment it was, I think it was 17:25-ish.
Okay.
Whenever I ran all the way around
and
got up the hill. So I was trying to do it quick. So it's about 17:25. I didn't see them anywhere. And I'm frantically like, all right, where could they be? As I started going to the right, there's a little divot. So I get down into the divot and I'm starting to walk up over the hill again. And the buck and the doe are literally right there, 30 yards from me.
Okay.
So
you crest this ridge.
Yeah, so say here's the hill coming up, and then it kind of dips down just a tad, and then it comes back up, and then it flattens out.
And that's where they're at?
That's where they were.
Okay.
Well, as I dip down, I sit down, which I didn't realize this, but I was actually sitting in one of the deer beds.
Oh, okay.
I had no clue.
I wonder if that helped. Maybe
it may have.
Mask your scent, possibly?
It may have, but the entire time I had my scent checker, I would shake it up, and then the scent, it was blowing straight back at me and over the hill. I knew they weren't getting me. There was no way.
Downwind.
Yeah, absolutely. So I knock an arrow, put my pin at 30 yards. I didn't even range by them. I didn't have time. And as I'm looking through the bushes, the buck kind of saw me as I was squatting back down. So that he did not see me. But I guess he did. So he walked towards me about 4 steps. And when he did, I I was thinking maybe he's curious because he's with a hot doe and maybe thinks I'm another buck, or maybe I'm a coyote or something. He's about to try and push him off. So I'm at 30 yards and he takes a couple steps towards me. I didn't have enough time to range find him, and I didn't want to do it, you know, and maybe bust him. So I go ahead and draw back. And as I did, I thought to myself, if I aim low and he jumps the arrow, which is whenever they go to load up, deer will drop, which is to where they load up and then they jump forward.
Bounce around, yeah.
So when they do that, if you aim low, pro tip again, you'll shoot where you're projecting them to drop at. But if he didn't drop whenever I shot, I was gonna go straight through his arteries. And that's exactly what happened. You know, the whole time I was doing it, also, you know, I was praying the entire time. Lord, give me wisdom, give me peace, and calm my heart. I said that the entire time I ran around. When I did, I said that one more time, let the rest of my air out, pulled the trigger, and I watched the arrow, because I have Illuminox on the end of my arrows. It lights up whenever you shoot. I watched the arrow literally hit the front left shoulder and go out the back right end of the buck. And when I hit him, it went dunk. You could hear it just smack.
Yeah.
And once it smacked him, he ran 30 yards and stopped, and he started just, you know, kind of swaying back and forth, and I was like, oh, I smoked him, baby. And I was just sitting there, nobody else was around me, you know, so I could enjoy the moment with him.
This is one of the rare moments where, like, the essential people weren't out at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't mean essential because there's about a group of 6 of us, but like me and Cody weren't out. I think James wasn't out.
Nobody was out there.
Jaron wasn't out. It was only you and Cameron.
Yep.
So absolutely. Only him and Cameron were out hunting at this time.
Yeah. So I watch him run 30 yards and he starts swaying. I knock another arrow because maybe I was like, all right, maybe I didn't hit him good enough. I range find him 60 yards and I go to draw back and I shoot. But as soon as I shot, he had already just gave it his all, like gave it his last mite for another 15 yards, fell over and crashed into a bush.
Okay.
So at that moment, I was like, no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. I killed this buck in less than 5 minutes. When I shot him, it cut everything up.
Yeah.
He was dead in less than 5 minutes.
All right. So is this a time you want to give the Broadhead company a shout out?
So these broadheads, so a lot of people like to use the mechanical broadheads.
Like myself?
Yep. So I don't like to use them, and I like to use the dual blade. I don't like using a triple blade broadhead. The reason why is because if you actually, this is kind of a shout out, Ranch Fairy, I was looking them up, or looking this guy up because public land hunters, or public hunters, we're talking to this guy on a podcast, and I just started doing a bunch of research, and he actually breaks down the physics behind an arrow.
Nice. Of,
you know, the grainage of your arrowhead. Whenever you're shooting, are they dual beveled or are they single beveled edge?
Yep.
2-bladed broadheads. Are they 12 grain nogs? You know, all the way down to the millimeter of the arrow.
Yep.
And whenever he was saying that, I was like, you know, that makes sense. You know, the lighter the arrow, the more flexible, the more inconsistent your arrows are going to shoot in a pattern. So I started shooting a higher grain arrowhead, Luminok, and I switched from 3mm to 5mm arrows.
Okay.
And
looks like it worked.
Absolutely worked because it went through the front left shoulder and out the back right quarter.
Yeah.
And I mean, it kept going. I had to go and find it another 10 yards from where I shot him. It went, I mean, straight through.
Yeah. All right, so you dropped this deer.
Yeah.
Right? And you saw it fall.
Saw it fall.
And now you're doing the waiting process like you should be doing. So right after you shoot a deer, we're full of tips today, you give it about 30 minutes. Don't make a move on it, because last thing you want to do is to keep bumping it.
Yeah.
Right? Because then you just get more in the shit. Right? You're going to keep bumping it. So after you shoot it, you confirmed it's down, just give it 30 minutes. All right?
If not more.
If not more.
Because where the shot placement is.
That's also correct. Good point.
Because what happens is whenever you shoot a deer, he'll bed down. He'll go and lay down over by somewhere where he thinks he's safe.
That dirt nap, son.
Yeah. So when that's the case, you may think he's dead. He may be just laying down and trying to recoup. But when you bump him, he gets an adrenaline rush like we do. And he just takes off running. He may run for another 2 miles, 3 miles, and you will never find him again.
Yep.
And the faster he runs, the less blood trail that you're gonna get, because it's gonna be more spread out, harder to track, the smaller the drops, all that.
So what time did you release the arrow? So we have like a time check.
I think right now it would be like 7:32 or so.
7:32? 17:32.
17:32.
So 5:32.
Yeah, 17:32.
Because we said sunset was at 6:30, so
yeah.
He's not shooting after sunset.
So 17:32.
So shot him at 5:32. Let's say 5. And then what? After you see the deer go down,
so
what's running through your head, emotions, feelings?
So as soon as you went down, the doe turned around and she ran like 5 yards and was like, "What was that?"
Yeah.
Had no clue what it was. So I just kind of eased back down and waited for her to go do her own thing. And when she did, I was like, all right, cool, I can stand back up. I don't want to, scare this doe. I don't want to bump her or anything like that. So she just kind of walked off. She didn't even run. And I'm glassing. I'm looking over to where this buck is. I can't see him because the grass is, it's probably about this high. Mm-hmm. And with him laying down, you couldn't see him.
Yeah.
So I got over, I took a picture of where I was to make sure that I did not lose that one bush. And I would move over to a different area, keep my eye on it, and I would take another picture of the bush to where I could get up to a higher elevation.
Okay.
So I had like 4 pictures of this bush. No, seriously.
You gotta do what you gotta do. I know, I've been there.
So
you can turn around.
Absolutely.
Easily out there.
Funny fact is I actually lost the bow because I put it down where he was and drug it all the way back to the road and then went back up there and didn't know where it was. Oh. So I pulled my phone out and I was like, oh yeah, there's a bush. And I was 75 yards off.
Gotta take pictures of these bushes.
Yeah, so.
What? Bushes in the wild.
So I get over there and I look at this buck and I'm like, oh man, he's smoked. Yeah. He is not breathing or anything. So I grab I found a rock on the ground, so I picked it up and I kind of like just threw it over there to see if he was doing anything.
Nothing.
Yep. So I was like, man, nothing.
Yep.
And as soon as that happened, I knew, he was done.
Yeah.
No more.
All right.
Called my wife.
Yeah, okay, so wife first call.
Wife first call. The priorities, because she wanted to be the first one that I called.
Yeah.
I called her. And then after that, I called the guys.
Yeah.
Called the boys out. Got to get them out, help me out. And they were all doing something. They're like, man, you couldn't have called it in a more perfect time. As soon as I did, they're like, I'm jumping in the truck now. I hear him over the background, Jacob, get dressed, we gotta go.
So, I just got home and I was about to take Jacob back to his mom's house, and then I get this call. I was like, perfect time.
Oh yeah.
Perfect time. Okay.
So, give you a call.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
And then I call Cody.
Okay.
Same thing. I drop a pin for everybody so they can come and meet me at the location.
Yeah.
And, because you still gotta remember, I'm in socks. I'm dragging this deer out.
It's far.
It was really far, but I tried playing it out to where I kept myself at the top of the hill, and then as I was working my way back from the ridge, I was at a downhill slope the entire time.
Thank
so
goodness.
Gravity was helping me.
Big time.
Every bit of 190, 200 pound deer with all the guts and everything in it. That buck was big.
Yeah.
So we do that, and it was definitely a moment that I will never forget, especially with the guys there helping me out, because there was no way I was going to be able to lift this buck up into the back of the truck by myself.
Yeah, so I get the call like you just said. I fly over here about 30 minutes from base. I roll up. I actually drive by him. He was apparently yelling at me from on top of his ridge.
I forgot about that.
I'm all my windows up, so he dropped me the pin. I go to the pin, but I guess he was like, I don't know, 300 yards before that. So then here I go in pants and a t-shirt just running through where he dropped the pin where he shot the deer. And then all of a sudden I hear from a distance like, Mike! I'm like, oh! So I go help him out. Cody was like, I guess like a minute behind me. We see this monster deer. And yes, you're gonna see it. You're gonna see it at the end of the video. I'll show the
pictures and everything.
Pictures and the video and all that stuff. So you're gonna see the deer. This isn't just this kind of interview. But yeah, when I saw that deer, at least I was like, oh my God, this is probably the biggest deer I've ever seen on Camp Pendleton. was huge. I mean, it was big for, remember, we have southern mule deer down here. It's not the big Colorado mule deer or Utah mule deer. It's nothing like that, but it's the biggest deer I've seen down here, and it was a monster, which you're going to see in a second. Yeah. All right, so final thoughts. It has now been a week. How's the processing going? Have you eaten it yet?
I actually ate some of it. Definitely tastes like a lot of sagebrush.
Okay.
So I have an extra fridge out in the garage, and I've been keeping the meat in there, letting it age, and trying to better the meat. So what I've also been doing is brining some of the meat. For you guys that don't know what brining is you put the meat inside a cooler or some kind of container to where you pack it full of ice. And what happens is when that ice settles and it starts to melt, it'll drain a lot of that blood. It'll pull that blood out. And if you pour a little bit of salt, it'll kind of help do the same thing.
Okay. So it's like what you do with like a fish. Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah. Okay. So let it sit in there for a day, 2 days. The meat will not go bad, guys, as long as you're icing it and it's constantly melting. And you dump the water out and continue to do it. Do it twice, 3 times.
Yeah.
That'll help pull a lot of that gamey taste out of the meat. And it'll actually tenderize the meat, make it more tender because it's been soaking.
Yeah, so I do the same thing for catfish.
Yep, I do the same thing.
So, but I use buttermilk.
Yep, or a little bit of lemon, put lemon inside there.
Haven't tried that yet.
It'll actually act as an acid and break apart a lot of the stuff in the meat and tenderize it even more.
Nice. All right, so I think we're gonna call it. It's good. It's a good breakdown. Any other last minute thoughts? Want to give a shout out to anyone?
Obviously you.
Yeah.
Cody
Holloway. Check him out on Instagram also.
And the wife for putting up with me going out every weekend.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I love you. but I gotta go out, man.
Yeah. So a little insider info. We're actually in the middle of a hunt right now. We're back at home for our lunch break, and we're going back out. He's actually helping me glass right now on spot. So this is our lunch break in the middle of a hunt during whatever Saturday. So. All right, guys, so we're gonna wrap that up. A different style of video. I thought this was pretty cool to actually have the person who now holds the Camp Pendleton record buck. And here's a final question. How much longer do you think that record will stand? And do you think someone might break it this year?
I think it has a highly chance to be broken because I've seen, and I'm not gonna tell you guys the areas, but I've seen bigger deer than what I shot.
So I will tell you something. There is something called King of the Mountain. I don't know if you know this. There's a King of the Mountain deer on Camp Pendleton, and he is by the 5. I'm not gonna tell you which area, but he's by the 5. And apparently this dude's like a huge 4x4 or 5x5. Mm-hmm. Like it makes his deer, which yet again you're gonna see here in about a minute, look like a fork. I don't know if I told you that.
We can do that, and then I can actually give you a picture of the shed as well, because the shed that I found.
Yeah. Oh,
that
that's
was
right.
A big shed. I found that just out in the open. What was crazy is that same day we were putting a stalk on the exact buck that had that shed from last year.
Right, I remember that.
Got 27 yards away from him, and he snuck out the back down into a little draw.
I hate when they sneak out, y'all. Like that other day. All right, guys, so we're gonna end it there. So here is me rolling up on Trenton with the deer, and then we're gonna post some pictures just so you get better angles. Final words?
I think that's everything.
All right, guys, you guys know the drill. Drop a like, drop a comment, click subscribe. Let's show them what San Diego is all about. Peace.
All right, here he is. Here he is. Oh my God. Look at this dude. Oh my God. Oh, I can't believe it.